What's up, YouTube? Welcome back. So in this video, I want to discuss a few things about the interview that happened between Tasha K and Kevin Samuels, and as well just discuss how black men and Kevin Samuels sort of relate to each other, particularly the black men who support Kevin Samuels. And it seems to me that the black men who support Kevin Samuels, I think partly it seems to be sort of like a revenge of the educated lames type of storyline going on in a sense. And it may be some Pookies and Ray Rays thrown into the mix too. But I feel like that's a big part of the reason why Kevin is getting the support that he's getting, particularly from black men. And I think these dudes want some revenge of some sort against black women, more so women to a lesser extent in general, but black women more so in particular, and wanting some revenge against them because perhaps they were rejected by them and felt like they should not have been rejected by them, and take some issues with that. And as well, I feel like there are some black men who kind of like are living vicariously through Kevin Samuels in a sense, and it gives them a sense of power and control and perhaps dominance in some sense. And I'll share with you an image that I ran across on social media about this. And this image, it shows Kevin Samuels. Some people said it looked like Shamar Moore, but it shows Kevin Samuels in this image, and he appears to be reminiscent of Thanos from the Marvel Universe. Oddly enough, Thanos is more so portrayed as a bad guy, which, something interesting to note there. And also in the post, it's like somebody posted this to a message board, and within the post they included a screenshot of this image from someone's Instagram account. And the person, of course you can read it, but the person said that this popped up as a group suggestion on Facebook, and Kevin seems to really have inspired his fans for the better and has decided to pay homage to him. I guess Kevin is here to save the black community's relationships with each other and eventually deal with white supremacy. We just have to wait for Kevin to feel comfortable with tackling white supremacy. And also you can read in the caption below, "No one man should have all this power." And I know some woman coming through and be like, it should read, "No one Dusty should have all this relevance." And personally, I feel like this image was most likely created by a black man, just because of that reference to power in the caption, but also in the picture itself. And as well, white supremacy was mentioned, right? And also Kevin, he's trying to do this whole like pro-black thing right now, where it's like he trying to come off as if he's concerned about the black community. You know that, boy, they know how to hustle. I tell you, they know how to come through and hustle and do a little damage control too. Now it's like, oh, pro-black. Oh, we gotta be pro-black with it. We gotta build up the community, and we need a black man and a black woman, and the black woman gotta support the black man, and the black man gotta have a plan. Yes, that's all well and good, alright? But let's keep it all the way 100. All the way 1,000. Let's just keep it all the way real. This ain't what Kevin Samuels is about. This ain't what he's on. This ain't the tip that he's on. He was just on whatever tip was going to get him to the bag, basically. And that's fine. That's okay. I'm not saying that someone can't be concerned about their bank account, their bag, their money, their fame, whatever. I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying, don't come through and serve me a plate of BS with some pro-black seasoning on it and say that this is a pro-black steak. Alright, this is a pro-black meal. When no, it's not. It's not a pro-black meal. It's just some BS with some pro-black seasoning on top. And I don't like that. Alright, I'm not feeling that. Kevin Samuels is not the next Malcolm X, and that's cool. Alright, we just have to make sure we make that known and make that very clear. All right. And also, Kevin Samuels' pro-black talking points are not anything new or innovative. Like, he's not bringing anything new to the table as far as ideas and theories, and he's not innovating on anything. For example, the whole black men and the black community in general building their own. That has been mentioned many a times by many people, right, in the pro-black sector, right? Whether it's on YouTube or even way before YouTube, really. You could see that going back to, like, perhaps the book, The Miseducation of the Negro, and probably even further than that, really. But Kevin, he's not innovating on anything or offering anything new to that conversation. And considering that Kevin Samuels dubs himself as a quote unquote high value man, and he has a very strict definition about what a high value man is, it's just like, well, hey, Kevin, can you give some tips on how to accomplish something like this? But on the flip side, I'm not sure if Kevin Samuels has actually accomplished anything like that. Was Kevin Samuels a quote unquote high value man before his come up on YouTube? Or is his high value-ness strictly related to YouTube, like tied to YouTube strictly? That would have been a good question for Tasha K to ask Kevin Samuels. How do you become a high value man who's building his own? I did watch the interview that he did with Tasha K, and I have some opinions about that too. First and foremost, that interview was not worth no $15. Alright? That interview was barely worth 15 cents. You know, I'll give her $1 for the set. The set did look nice. I'll give Tasha K that. She has a nice looking set. I'll give her that. She's like an independent black woman creative with a set like that. Alright? Some people may say that she's not really creative. A creative, more so just a gossip monger, whatever. But I'll give her the set. The lighting, I felt like the lighting, that's what she was going for, but I felt like there should have been a bit more lighting, but they probably just did that on purpose because that was the kind of like the ambiance they were going for in that interview, and just probably just in her interviews in general. But yeah, that interview was not worth no $15. Thankfully, I didn't pay $15 to watch that interview. Thankfully, Tasha K posted that interview maybe like a day or two after she had it on her Patreon account. But I'm like, really? That interview ain't worth no $15, And even from the preview that I saw Tasha K post on YouTube, I was like, I ain't, like, just from the preview alone, I already kind of got the vibe that this interview was going to take. And I was like, But I was like, well, maybe she doing, but nah. And some people had critiques like, oh, y'all wanted to see a bloodbath. Oh, y'all wanted to see black man and black woman going at each other's throats. And for me personally, I didn't want to see a bloodbath, but I did want to see Tasha K take him to task on some of the things that he said, some of the images that are floating around of Kevin Samuels on the internet too. I didn't want to see a softball interview of her giving him light questions, not taking him to task. I didn't want to see that. I feel like there's enough of that already out there. And I guess Tasha K just wanted to jump on the bandwagon and get a couple of bucks out of it. And hey, I don't knock her for wanting to get a couple of bucks, but I think I don't know. I just don't think this was the way she should have went about it. But she just trying to get her, secure her bag, I guess, right? And speaking about taking Kevin Samuels to task on some things, right? Because Kevin Samuels, he's trying to be the next Malcolm X out here, right? Y'all know that. We're going to be calling him Kevin X in a few months, right? Kevin X, what's up? But Tasha K should have taken Kevin X, or Kevin S, K-Sam, all right, They should have taken Kevin to task with a couple of things. For one, as I mentioned before, he's doing the whole pro-black thing now. But Kevin Samuels has says that he dates, all races of women, which is fine. That's his business, right? But you coming through saying trying to do some pro-black stuff and talking about the black man and black woman having relationships with each other and relating to each other and all that jazz, right? And that's fine, but you're engaging in interracial relationships. That's not helping the situation, right? And also, his followers are swirlers, black male swirlers, which is fine, but don't come through talking the pro-blackity black talk if you ain't really about that pro-blackity black walk. That's all that I'm really getting at. You can, at the end of the day, you can date whoever the heck you want to date. That's your choice, your right, whatever. But just don't come through saying it's one thing and portraying yourself as one thing when you're really the opposite of that. And from what I heard, and to be fair, I'll preface this as hearsay, I have heard that Kevin Samuels has said, some comments about black women that aren't very nice. I think the last I heard, people are saying that Kevin said that black women are universally undesirable. I'm like, that's not going to be helping black men and black women's relationships. And then I know somebody gonna come through and be all like, well, 85% of black men are married to black women. And no, that would be 85% of black men who are married to black women. All right. There's a difference. But even if that were the case, right? If 85% of all the black men out there were married to black women, why are interracial relationships being considered an option at all if we're really about the relationships between black men and black women and trying to fix those relationships and to repair those relationships? Why is that considered an option at all? It sends a mixed message that is confusing. And let's also talk about, in this interview with Tasha K and Kevin Samuels, let's talk about Kevin Samuels, like Tasha K asking Kevin Samuels, not really asking him, but bringing up like the rumors about Kevin Samuels being a homosexual. And, Tasha, she low-key had her cape on pretty much throughout this whole interview, but especially during that, right? And, I'll say that so far, no one has come out to out Kevin Samuels as far as like, someone saying like, they've been with Kevin Samuels and they got the receipts. So far, that has not happened. But a reason why that could be is, one, of course, it could just be not true. Okay, we can just say that. But also it could be because, well, if Kevin Samuels were to be in a homosexual relationship, do you think he would be bringing feminine energy or masculine energy? Think about that. And, based on the photos I've been seeing, it seemed like he would be more likely to bring feminine energy. And when it comes to folks coming forward and saying, that person been with me, I've been with that person, typically that tends to be women doing that, right? Coming forward and saying, we had a relationship. He slept with me. And, calling up the job, trying to talk to talk to the main chick or talk to the wife or whatever. Like, I'm coming to you as a real woman to let you know that your husband been with me, honey. Right? No shade to the women out there. But still, you really shouldn't be in a situation like that to begin with. But no shade to the women out there in general. But that tends to be more of a woman type of thing, right? Coming out and saying that they've been with somebody or been with some dude, right? And I'm saying all that to say that since Kevin Samuels would probably be more likely to bring the quote-unquote feminine energy, the dudes he be messing with probably are bringing masculine energy, so they probably ain't so quick to want to throw out there that, hey, they've been with Kevin Samuels, right? And maybe the dudes could be on the down low. I don't know. I'm just saying. But on the other hand, Kevin could be just a feminine man who happens to play a masculine role within his relationships, and maybe he just got his side dudes and his side shows in check so that you ain't gonna be hearing his side dudes or side shows coming through telling everything that Kevin Samuels do. And of course, maybe the rumors just aren't true. You know, there's always that too. And also in the interview, someone brought this up. I think a few people actually brought this up actually, but in the interview, Tasha K was giving Kevin Samuels compliments, and that's cool. Definitely, there ain't nothing wrong with that. You know, giving a black man, a compliment. Sure, it ain't nothing wrong with that at all. But notice, Kevin Samuels did not reciprocate a compliment to Tasha K. No way, Jose. Nuh-uh. He ain't reciprocate no compliment to Tasha K. And to be fair, Tasha K was looking a bit frumpy in the interview. I'm like, you probably could have, dressed up a little bit better, or, at least dress right for your body type. But then again, maybe she just don't care about that. She like I look how I look. That's what it is. Take it how you get it. Take it or leave it. I got a husband. I got a man. Whatever. Good for her. But notice that Kevin Samuels did not reciprocate the compliment, though, right? While Tasha K is giving him compliments, throughout the interview. And then some people are saying, well, he shouldn't have, because she married. She a married woman. He shouldn't have been giving her no compliments. Oh, no. And I'm thinking, really? Since when do you Negroes respect the sanctity of marriage? Since when? So get out of here with that. Like, yeah, right. I bet you he gave Tasha K's husband some compliments, though. Y'all want to get into that right quick? In that picture that Tasha K posted on her YouTube community tab? I'm like, really, Tasha? Because I'm looking at this photo that Tasha K posted on her community tab of Kevin Samuels and her husband. And the way that Kevin looks is a bit interesting. The way that her husband looks is a little interesting to a lesser extent, but definitely Kevin, right? And how he looks. Particularly the face, and even to an extent the body language, very interesting. It almost looks as if he's asking,
you got a big dick?
And hey, that's their business. But I saw this and I was like, really? I'm like, Tasha K. Like, the thing is, I don't really know a lot about Tasha K, but I have heard of her, right? She's a popular YouTuber, and she's popular in especially like black YouTube and getting, the tea and getting the dirt on people, right? But I saw this photo and I was just like, wow, like, Tasha K really is messy. And also I saw her like pin a comment. I'm like, really? Really, Tasha? And like the comment is saying, quote unquote, child, they're looking suspect. You better run his A out the nearest door unless ... Never mind. Right? I'm like, Tasha, why you put this up? Why you put your husband out there like that with Kevin?
You got a big dick?
Samuels. But yeah, I thought that was just something. And also, back to Kevin Samuels and Tasha K and compliments. Kevin ain't gonna lie. It could ruin his brand. And notice that Tasha K didn't ask him to rate her either. And, maybe she just didn't care, which I can understand that. But if Kevin Samuels and these dudes who cape for Kevin Samuels were to rate Tasha K, because right now these dudes are saying that Tasha K is what's up. Tasha K is popping right now because she gave a softball interview to Kevin Samuels. If these black men were to rate Tasha K, how would they rate her? I'm thinking she would probably be around, for these dudes, I think if they were to give her a 5, they would be saying that, oh, they're grading her on a curve, or they're grading her lightly. Basically what I'm getting at is, Tasha K is not the look that these dudes desire, which is fine, but I just find that to be really interesting that normally they would be going in on Tasha K's looks, right? If she were to just give a fair interview where she's tough but fair, they would be going in on her for that. Because for them, it has to be completely in Kevin Samuels' favor for it to be considered quote unquote fair. I don't think these dudes who follow Kevin Samuels are checking for women who look like Tasha K. And that's okay. But let's just be real about that. Let's just put that out there, though. Because I do think that is something worth noting. Since these dudes want to come through and cape for both Kevin and Tasha now. Since, again, she gave the softball interview. And I swear, like, so many people, especially so many black men, oddly enough, not even black women, but more so black men, just be slurping and burping all on Kevin Samuels I'm about just D-riding, all right? I mean, these dudes just be going in on the D. They're just like, oh, black women just jealous of Kevin Samuels' success. Slurp, slurp. Oh, y'all just mad that a brother like Kevin Samuel is going mainstream and calling y'all black women out. Slurpity, slurpity, slurp. I'll protect Kevin Samuels with my life. You know, just slobbing and bobbing all over Kevin Samuels' knob. I tell you, them dudes ain't got no table manners. And also, this is a bit off topic, but in the interview, Tasha K, she brought up the photo of Kevin Samuels from high school, and Kevin Samuels was like, folks thought that his hair was in a jerry curl, but really, he just got quote unquote good hair. That's what he said, he got good hair. I found that to be interesting as well. So, good hair, Kevin Samuels here. Just letting y'all know. You know, why didn't Tasha K also bring up them other pictures that have been floating around about with Kevin Samuels in them looking, you know, very lemon zesty. And also, Tasha K was like, oh, the black community just ain't used to seeing a black man who's well dressed and well put together and speaks without ebonics. She may not have said that part, but something to that effect, though. Right? And I'm just like, I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's purely it. It's like, oh, he dresses stylish and fashionable. That's not quite the case. It's like, one, mannerisms. Also, some of the dress choices he has made in them pictures also. But again, you know, ultimately, that's his business and all that good stuff. But I'm just saying, right? Why wasn't that brought up? That's all I'm really getting at. And why didn't Tasha K really just come through more? But yeah, I guess that's what I got to say. So thanks for watching. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments section. Until the next video, adios and goodbye for now.
You got a big dick?